Hello. Good morning. All right. Two of my favorite students
Good morning.
opening the Zoom
Am I
room.
the only one here?
Now, Angela's coming. Andrew's coming. Good morning, y'all. Okay. How we feeling?
Morning.
Okay, today is the last day of the month. I just want to talk a little bit about how the month has gone for everybody, and we'll hit on some good content here in just a couple minutes. Who wants to share what they're grateful for? Let's start off the morning right. Nobody.
I'm grateful for being with a company that has, so much to offer as far as training and, helping you get started with real estate.
Love that. Love that. We're happy to be here. Hopefully we're all here for the exact same reason. So we're happy you're happy. Awesome. Who else wants to share? Morning, Kim. Good morning, Luanda.
Good morning.
Good
Hey,
morning.
I'm gonna have to mute Bill. I'm in the car driving. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Good to see you. Okay. Who else wants to share something they're happy about or grateful for?
One of my good friends sent me a text yesterday. She said she was talking to a friend who's getting ready to list their house, and she referred my name, and hopefully they'll call me.
Beautiful. Can I give you some advice on that?
Sure.
Okay. I'm glad you brought that up. This is a really good point. When those opportunities come, right, we want to minimize taking everything for chance, right? It's kind of that idea of like, oh, here's my card, call me when you need a home. And we expect them to like frame it and like stick it on the wall, like always know exactly where it is and these kind of things. The fact of the matter is the likelihood of that happening is just about zero. I'm not saying your specific situation, Ashley, but I'm saying like the whole give me your card and I'll call you when I want something, that never happens, okay? I can't even tell you how many boxes of cards that have gone in the trash can, most likely, okay? So what I believe is probably the strongest way to do it, and we do this a lot with recruiting, is like a three-way email or a three-way text. So you say to your friend, hey, would you just do me a huge favor? Would you just email both of us together and introduce us?
Okay.
It would say something like, Ashley, Ashley, meet Peggy. Peggy is my neighbor and her family is going to move to Lawrenceville and they have a home in Roswell that they have some questions about what it might look like to sell. She's got 2 kids and a dog. Peggy, meet Ashley. Our kids go to the same school. She, is super smart and super dedicated, and you'll just love spending time with her. Right? Here's Ashley's information. Here's Peggy's information. Boom. Now it goes off into the world, and now you've automatically doubled the likelihood that you're going to get that referral or you're going to make that connection, because now the referring or the actual candidate almost feels this obligation to respond because it's weird not to respond, right? So they might say, oh, hi, Ashley, right? They'll initiate the conversation oftentimes because it feels weird otherwise. There's like this like silent expectation. And it gives you an opportunity to go in for the kill and say, hey, you want to meet tomorrow? You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
So but without that connection, and oftentimes it can be done by text also. Without that connection, sometimes there's no level of commitment in any way. And so as a result, it is just kind of forgotten. And you know how we are. Sometimes we get really excited about this project and we work real hard on it, and then something else gets in the way and the project never materializes, right? It's kind of the same thing. And then once I get a lot of energy around this idea of selling my home in, let's say, 3 weeks, and I come across another friend who does a three-way email, or is a little bit more aggressive on how the relationship happens, or it's just the person had a free 5 minutes, they get the deal. So I always recommend to everybody that three-way connection, whether it be by email or by text. That way you have a chance to pursue it, and they have this like silent obligation almost to respond. Has anyone had any success with that, or any other ways of doing it? All right, everyone get some coffee in them now.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, beautiful. Let's go through, just while I got everyone on the phone, I just want to remind you today from 4 to 5, it's going to be the Growth Mastermind. So I want to talk about some higher level stuff about building your business and modeling and client creation, and answer any questions that you may have. I don't know if anyone is interested in this, but there is a class called Career Visioning. I know it's super last minute. It's today and tomorrow. It's a class that normally costs like $300 or $400. And this class is actually being done for free. It's a class on hiring. So they're probably going to be doing some more of this over time, but it is available today. I'm going to try to mute everybody. Hang on.
Bill, do you have that information for that class?
I do. Hang on just one. Where is it? Yes, I will send that out momentarily.
Thank you.
Hang on 1 second. All right, I'm going to post it on the help group. Okay, everyone saw the message from Aubrey, yes?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, y'all be safe, man. This ain't done.
I haven't seen it. I'm sorry.
Lucy has tested positive for coronavirus.
Oh my gosh.
So I don't want to say she's fine, but she's not exhibiting any type of symptoms right now. So we're all going to get tested and all that stuff. All right, it's in the help community, that link for the class. So Lucy has tested positive. Her brother-in-law, sister-in-law, her brother-in-law, niece, her mother-in-law, and father-in-law all have COVID right now. So keep her in your prayers. She appears to be fine. She doesn't have a lot of symptoms right now, or really any symptoms right now, other than a little headache. But other than that, we're all staying out of the office now and going to get tested, and we'll have a particular protocol in place before we come back to the office. Okay. There's a pretty long email yesterday just going through instructions for dropping off closings and checks and all that kind of stuff. But obviously we're going to keep operating, just not in person. Okay. But everyone, including Lucy, is available by phone and by email, just like normal. And, we'll continue everyone can continue to help you just like normal. Okay. All right, let's go through a little bit of housekeeping on the numbers, please. Today is the last day. So I see some of you are overly anxious to report your numbers. And let me tell you, I am incredibly grateful for that. But don't forget, today should count towards those numbers as well. So if you want to record them and then update whatever you do today, that's totally fine. But by the end of today, if you can record your numbers for the time period of June 22nd through 30th, okay? To give you an idea of how we're doing, and I know there's a lot of people that haven't finished this, our goal each month is to go on 17 listing appointments as a team and take 13 of them. Okay, as of this moment, we've gone on 16 and taken 8. So I know it's the last day of today, and we're going to go and hustle with our Bold 100 tomorrow. But if you got anybody that's kind of right on the fence or almost done updating their home and they're ready to sign the paperwork, let's get it signed. right? Let's get a commitment so we can go to work tomorrow for them, right? If you get that listing in place, then you can go call all the neighbors tomorrow and maybe find yourself a buyer. Okay. I also want to remind you, assuming that you feel comfortable with this, open houses, we're not basically going out there and saying, do open houses, but we're not going to stop you. So as long as you're, practicing all the guidelines and sanitizers and masks and social distancing and less than 10 people and all that stuff, you are able to do open houses. And open houses are yielding some pretty good results. So I hear Miranelli did an open house for Pam's listing this past weekend. We ended up getting multiple offers and going $5,000 above list price for a contract, and Miranelli already picked up a buyer from it, and she's flirting with a couple of other buyers. So that is probably the fastest way to a I'm ready to go do something right now type client. Shauna, I know you've had some experience with that, right? Anyone?
Sorry, I'm here. I was chasing my dog.
Oh, that's okay.
Yes, I actually did one for Elena. Just picked up another buyer who's using my Kelly app right now. And then I picked up, possibility of 2, confirmed that it ended up being 1 for the Johns Creek area, which was one I did for Lana. And then I'm doing another Buford house this weekend because, I can, for Lana this weekend. And the open houses are a great way to connect and put your best foot forward also.
Right, and there's no rule that says you can only do it on Saturday or Sunday. There's no rule that says, I know it got postponed or whatever, but you were going to do like a nighttime, like midweek one, right?
Right, and I did that actually. We're going to set up another one and wine and appetizers and stuff. So we're looking at the following week and a half to set that up again.
I love that. So what did you do? Like 6 to 8 or 5 to 7 or something?
We did 4 to 7. I think it is better to actually do the 6 to 8, just because you get more people who are off work.
Yes.
But you still have that crowd that is still working from home, so they can actually leave. And 4 is better because then they can still go home and cook dinner.
Right.
So.
Did you get any, like, what were the reactions of people that came by? They're like, oh, this is interesting, like a nighttime one, huh?
Well, they did like that was wine. The other thing is, it was just interesting. It was good feedback for our sellers too, because there was stuff I know that needed to be worked on.
Right.
So it was positive, but it was the feedback that I was giving them, and they appreciated that. And because of that, now it's getting fixed, which is a good thing.
Yeah. If there's anything that comes out of the open house, that's a great one. Getting some feedback that actually the seller takes action on.
Exactly, because sometimes, they were dragging their feet and they're like, we've done this already. I'm like, I promise you, this is going to be a deterrent and you're going to have to fix this. And those were the responses. And all of a sudden, that's what they're doing. As of this week, I've gone and checked, and it's continuing to be fixed, which is great.
Perfect. All right, one last question for you. What is your method of sharing the app and creating urgency so they start using it right away?
Well, basically, I tell them firsthand, especially when the person came through this weekend, they're like, well, this works. I just need more storage. I said, okay, tell me what you're looking for. And we were talking the whole entire time. And I said, oh, well, let's look at my phone. Let's see what we can pull up. And I made sure to check it to make sure it was working, and pulled it up. And then we just started seeing all these things pop up on my phone. And he's like, that's incredible. I'm like, oh, you can actually sign in. Here's my phone. Let me share it with you right now.
Man, you just nailed it.
Yeah, that's what I do. I don't mess around. Don't say I'll sign you in later. Do it right there. Show them what it does. And instantly they want it, because he was playing with it, saying, oh, there's something over there. There's something over there. And he's like, okay, this one's too small. And he's like, hey, can I get this app? I'm like, yeah, sign up. Let me do this. And then we have an appointment to go out this week and look at stuff.
Oh, that's amazing. Good job. Really good job. Okay, I know many of you guys were on the call yesterday, and we talked about how many listing appointments are we going to commit to going on in July. Who wants to share their number? I'm writing them down. Who wants to
Listing
share?
for me still as a team. Again, I'm the buyer's agent, but as a team, if I get them, I get them. Still 3.
Showing 3.
Yeah.
All right. Who else? Andrew, you look like you want to give me a number. Man, you guys are tired this morning, huh?
I was thinking somewhere.
So, no, not somewhere around. Not somewhere around.
The buyer.
How many listing appointments are you going to go on this month?
Well, I have to do at least 2. That's my goal.
Okay, beautiful.
But I didn't know if you were talking about buyer appointment.
Buyers are great. I want to focus on listings this month, though. Buyers are fantastic. They pay also, and they're awesome to work with, and you get all the same good feelings from helping them. But I want to focus on sellers right now. Okay. Who else?
Me too.
So,
Sorry, you
Also.
guys are
Sorry.
a little fuzzy.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
I'd say 2 as well.
Ashley too. Okay, who else wants to share?
tomorrow's gonna be a great day. So I'm gonna say 3. Like I'm definitely gonna get 3 out of tomorrow.
Oh, you're talking about getting 3 out of tomorrow. I'm talking about the whole month. Man, I like the way you think. I like that. Okay.
Gone,
She says 3, but
Ebony.
she's like,
This one,
I'm getting them on the 1st.
Yes.
Wanda, go ahead. Sorry.
4.
Wanda's going to have 4 listing appointments this month. Donna.
I was gonna say 1, but I'm gonna up that to 2.
See how awesome it is being on these calls. You want to say 1, you end up saying 2, and you're going to put the activity in place to get 2. So you're going to double your business simply by hopping on a 30-minute call. Brian. Liz,
Put me down for 2.
Brian's 2. Liz?
3.
3. Angela?
2.
2 listing appointments. Beautiful. Brian? Oh, you already answered me. I'm sorry. Kim? She's driving. Kim, if you could send us your number when you're in a safe spot, that would be awesome. Guys, this is phenomenal. Good job. I'm proud of you. I'm excited to walk you through or be your partner as you commit to this goal here in July. All right, let's all shock Jan as she comes in. Hey, Jan. Hey, Jan, we're talking about how many listing appointments we're going to commit to going on in the month of July. You're up.
4.
4 listing appointments. Great job. Okay. Let's just take the pulse of the group real fast. What's one of our biggest struggles right now? What are we struggling with the most? I want to make sure that I either can comment on that or give you some feedback, give you some advice, plan a class. What are we finding is the biggest challenge we're facing right now?
I don't think I'm having so much.
Can anyone hear her properly?
I go back to normal.
That is, yeah.
Yes, I can hear her.
Yes, I can hear her.
Yeah, I can hear her.
All right, Jan,
Yeah, I
go ahead
can.
again.
I just think that, every time I think things are going to go back to normal, we can start going to the office, start seeing the people that we know, meeting new people, getting out, networking. And, we're so it's kind of starting to get to me. And
I hear you.
it's good in a way, though, because that means you have to start thinking outside the box. So, it's a double-edged sword.
I think now's kind of the time where it's almost like we hit rewind and we're back to like that, late March, early April time where, we're not on lockdown, but like it kind of feels like maybe we should be. And it might be time to go back to those agent pivot scripts and do the check-in calls again. I mean, as we've seen, coronavirus has gotten closer to me than it's ever gotten, that I'm aware of. And, I'm starting to think about it a little differently. I suspect that everyone's experiencing something similar. And what?
Hey, Bill, you're distorted.
Is that the case for everyone?
Yep.
It's better now. It's going in and out.
Yeah,
Right.
it was a little distorted.
Glitchy.
Okay, let me.
But you're good now.
Okay. I'm going to join through a different computer as well. And that's the hardest part for me. I'm usually on 3 screens, and going back to 1 is very challenging for me. All right, hang on.
Hey, Bill. So I have a question.
Yes, sir. That's not me.
So,
I'm leaving. All right, go ahead.
So, okay, question is, so this morning I got an email. The inspection on my listing came back with a radon gas. Basically, is 3 times more than it's permitted by law. They'll buy the house, but
Nothing
only
permitted by law, by the way.
it's taken care of. Oh, really?
No,
That's just what
you
they.
the base has to be between 2 and 4. Says the girl who had a listing where the radon was at 7 point something, almost 8. So there's great mitigation companies, but go on with your question and we'll go from there.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. This one says it was at like 8.8. So
Okay.
I guess it's kind of high. So basically, they would want that taken care of.
Yep.
What do you do to fix radon gas?
There's radon mitigation companies, and I've got quite a few, and they're amazing. Depending on the size of the house, this house was a 9,000 square foot house. It was just under $1,000.
Okay.
And it's called SWAT, SWAT. Absolutely love them. Really professional. And basically I just told, because I was the buyer, saying that I'm not going to go in this house when I have 2 cancer survivors going in. Y'all need to mitigate this. Like, if you want this to go through, y'all need to figure out a way. And then I had Lorelei and her husband Scott help me with the step and the terms. And we almost walked the last minute, and they ended up paying and taking care of the mitigation.
Okay, I'm going to ask for a couple of favors then. If you could share, thank you, Shauna, for your answer. If you could share the names and numbers of the radon companies that you have experience with that are positive, if you could share those in the group. And also, if you're willing to share the language of the special stipulation, you can email that to me and I can post it in the group.
Definitely.
Let me give you a really quick rundown on radon. Radon gas is the natural byproduct of the decomposition of some type of I'm drawing a blank on the element that comes from basically from the center of the earth. Okay, there is radon gas everywhere. The question is at what level is the radon gas, or how dense is it, if you will? The government, the EPA, says that it should not exceed what's called 4.0 picokiloliters. And when they test, it's a 2-day test, and they're measuring the radon gas content in the air. They put the testing system in the lowest place of the house, so usually the basement, if there is one. And then it measures the radon content hour by hour for about 48 hours. Okay, and then they take the average. Generally speaking, you tend to see higher content around water and around like mountains or rock.
And stormy days.
And yeah, that's a different issue too. And stormy days. Okay. If your test comes back 0 to 2, they recommend that you never have to test again. If it comes in from 2 to 4, they recommend testing in a different season. Okay. And if it's 4 or over, they recommend, not mandate, but recommend a remediation. A remediation, $1,000 for remediation is one of the cheapest I've ever seen. And the most expensive I've ever seen is around $3,500. So it's not like it doesn't mean like the house needs to be knocked down or something, because the fact of the matter is if they knocked it down and build another house, that house is going to have radon too, because it's coming from the middle of the earth. Okay. It's basically a system where they drill a like a tube essentially into the foundation of the home and have a fan system that basically pulls it out of the center of the earth and distributes it through the roof. And the vast majority of radon companies will come in, they'll test, they'll do their remediation, then they'll test again, and they will guarantee that it will go below 4. Most will not guarantee that it will go any lower than 4 or like 3.9 or something, right? And that's considered remediation. The EPA says it's the second leading cause of lung cancer outside of smoking.
Wow.
Okay. There are people who believe it's total nonsense. I'm not going to get into that, but the fact of the matter is anytime that you have a buyer, they should be testing for radon, in my opinion. If the home does not have a basement, that still needs to be tested for radon, in my opinion. At least you need to disclose that or share that opinion with your buyer. Remember yesterday in the contracts class, I showed you the special stipulation that I added to the group, and I put on the email from Sunday that has like 4 or 5 different stipulations that Andy and his team put into the buyer brokerage agreement, including the recommendation for a radon test and including the recommendation for a survey, that kind of stuff. Okay. So, Andrew, remember, we are the calming force in the transaction. Okay. So the seller needs to understand that the lion's share of the people that would consider purchasing that home are going to test for radon, and they're going to get the same results. And so don't go crazy about the fact that it's real high or 3 times the thing or 4 times the thing. And the buyer's probably just trying to be dramatic because they're freaking out and they probably don't have a good realtor to calm them down. So you just take the advice of Shona, get the vendor to come over and give a quote and to analyze the report and to tell you what it would cost to fix it. That's almost certainly something the seller's going to have to fix. Not to keep the government happy, not to keep the state happy, but to sell their home with that particular buyer. Makes sense? There's no mandates. It's kind of like a electrical outlet that is not to code. There's no requirement that they put it to code. It's simply a negotiation between the buyer and seller. Does that make sense?
Yeah. That makes sense.
Okay.
Not
That's
only
also
that, you
similar,
know,
by the way, that's also similar, by the way, to FHA. When an FHA loan is going to be used to buy a home, FHA sends out that when they do the appraisal, they have the inspector, the appraiser, I guess you would call him, goes around the home and basically makes sure that the home, quote, meets the minimum standards of an FHA loan. The things they're generally looking for is missing handrails, broken windows, active moisture issues. Those are the big ones. So if you have an FHA home, or if you have a home that the buyer's trying to get an FHA loan on and it's missing some handrails, that's not, quote, mandated that it gets fixed. It's just mandated that the loan isn't going to fund until it gets fixed. So there's no law. If you weren't selling it to somebody with an FHA loan, you wouldn't necessarily have to fix it. But because you agreed to work with an FHA buyer, you may have to go through a couple extra hoops. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. I saw a couple of greens. So tell me who was trying to say something.
well, the other thing, if you are on the seller side, you know, they have to disclose that once it's discovered. So
That's
they
right.
might as well just go ahead and get it fixed and stick with the buyer they have versus having to try to find a new buyer. They're going to, by law, there's to disclose it. And if it's found out there was radon in the house, you know, they could get in a lot of trouble after the fact. So they might as well just fix it and move on.
100%. I think Shana was trying to say the same thing. Thank you for that. And let me just make one quick additional note on that. Remember, anything your seller is in receipt of, like an inspection report that says that you got an active roof leak, or you got presence of mold or something like that, or what is believed to be mold. If you lose the buyer, right, and you have to market the property again to the open market, you either need to fix that stuff or disclose it. And I got to tell you, if I was on the buyer side and I got a disclosure statement that said the home has active mold and radon level of 8.8, I would be like, okay, well, are you going to fix this stuff? Don't be crazy, fix this stuff. So SWAT, by the way, I used to work with SWAT for many years. I don't know if they still do other handyman work, but they were doing handyman work back in the day, and I always really liked them.
They still do. Yeah, they're great.
Yeah, I really like that guy. I'm trying to remember the owner's name. I was real friendly with him. So anytime that you have an issue that is revealed through an inspection report that now the seller knows, they really ought to fix it, because they're going to have to disclose it to the next round of buyers. And by the way, that is a negotiation tactic, if you will, on whether you choose to share the inspection report with the seller, right? So in this scenario, if I was on the buyer side, Andrew, I would share that report with you, and that puts you and your party in a little bit of a pickle, because now you're going to need to fix it for me, unless you want to just try to market a home with an active radon problem and see what kind of price you get. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everyone clear on all that I just mentioned?
Yes.
Okay. Don't forget, tomorrow is Bold 100. If you have an address that you'd like to do a coal list for, go ahead and send it to me immediately, and I'll get that report sent back to you. Also, based on month by month, we're going to have a different day of reporting. It looks like this month it's probably going to be reporting by the end of Tuesday. And so if you have, please catch up on your reporting, and the final day of the month is today. So go ahead at the end of the day, after you're done with all your activities, go ahead and put up your numbers. We're real close to hitting our goal on listing appointments. So fantastic work, everyone. Go ahead and get those last couple of appointments in, and y'all have an awesome day. For those people, I believe everyone on the call has a appointment slot with me for coaching. So, Shauna, send me one, okay? Everyone else I think is good. And keep up the good work, you guys. I'll see you at 4 o'clock if you want to participate in the growth.
I have a question before you get off.
Yeah.
Bill.
Okay.
So 2 questions. One would be, I have a script that I'm really comfortable with for the for sale by owners. Is it good for me just to stick with one script if that's the one that does it for me?
Yes. Well, here's the thing. It's not, I mean, what is success? Liz, I'm so sorry. We talked about scripting today.
It's okay.
I said to myself, oh my gosh, I feel like there's something we need to go over. Here's the thing, Ebony. I hate to say it this way, but it's not about you. It's about them. Right? So if it's working for you and it's working for them, then yeah, by all means, you should say that for the rest of your life. But if it's working for you and it's not getting you any results, that's a different discussion. Make sense?
It does.
But if you feel good about it, then let's try it, and let's try it a lot. And then depending on how the world is reacting to it, we can make tweaks accordingly.
Okay, and then the next question would be, because I want to pull my people, I want to do FS for sales by owners in Vulcan. So I'm looking in Vulcan right now, and I want to just make sure that I'm pulling people from the right place.
So
do I just click on the...
That I'm probably not the best person to answer that question. So what I would recommend you do is watch some videos on within the Vulcan system, and you can see exactly what the recommendations are. And I'm sure there's also some Facebook pages that kind of are like Vulcan clients or whatever that talk about best practices. You could probably investigate that. Tomorrow from at 8:30, we'll do scripts to prepare for Bold 100. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Can any such we can't make calls at home, is going to go into the office. I don't really have a answer for you on that.
Yeah, I didn't know if. Okay.
Yeah.
I got sick kids and they can't leave, and so I didn't know if anybody.
I think I've got somebody coming over to the house in the morning, and my wife's got a photo shoot in the afternoon, so I'm probably gonna like set up shop in like the garage or something. So
Yeah. Okay.
we'll sometimes we got to make we got to make adjustments that we wouldn't normally make, right? All right, guys, y'all have an awesome day.
Do we have team meeting today, Bill?
Yeah, virtually.
And are those always at 11 now? Or are we going back to 11:45 or?
It's my understanding we're going to be at 11 for now.
Okay. All right.